Content analysis studies of dreams have been quite numerous and detailed. Even though this is a class on sleep and dreaming, I am not going to demonstrate putting you to sleep by requiring you to memorize facts like this. The typical dream averages 2.6 characters, 4.8 activities, 1.4 social interactions, and 1.3 settings, although research has found this. Instead, I am going to focus on some more interesting dream questions that have been answered by studies of dream content. There is a tendency for people to think that they have far more exciting dreams in terms of sex, violence, fortune, or misfortune. Not because they really do, but because they are the dreams that we tend to remember. When dreamers are awakened during each REM period and briefly report a different dream each time, most are mundane. In the morning, they are unable to remember most of the mundane ones, though. In fact, they often only remember the most dramatic ones, leading to this erroneous belief. Other factors that tend to affect the memory of dreams are recency and length. More recent and longer dreams are better remembered than their counterparts. So dream content is mostly mundane, but with frequent occurrences of discontinuity. Who are the stars in your dreams? In terms of characters, most dreams by far feature the dreamer. You are almost always an active participant in your dreams, although occasionally you are an observer. Your dreams do not usually star just you, though. The focus is split between you and other co-stars. Most often, other characters in your dreams are familiar others with whom you interact currently in your life, and the emotion you carry towards them in real life tends to carry into your dreams. Less often, strangers are featured. Most often when strangers are featured, this is in a social role such as a police officer or a librarian. At all ages, there is a tendency for dream content to mostly focus on the present rather than the past or future. The idea of waking a dreamer during each REM period throughout a night brings to mind another question. Do dreams during a single night tend to resemble a continuing series or separate episodes? In other words, do dreams pick back up in different REM stages of a night? The answer, to no surprise to those who have at least partially awakened, then tried to intentionally pick up on the same pleasant dream again. This does not appear to be in our control. You may be lucky, but more often dreams are like separate episodes of a show that you might call your way of seeing the world. Freud introduced the idea that day residue sometimes shows up in dreams. It is true that we sometimes dream about something we experienced the day before, but Powell and his colleagues in 1995 found that we are actually more likely to dream about our experiences 6 to 7 days later. So this is more recently called the day residue lag effect. And it suggests that this incubation period of about a week produces memories that are most capable of infiltrating our dreams. So does everyone dream? When adults are awakened in the lab during REM sleep, they report dreams 80 to 90% of the time. This also applies to those who claim they don't dream, who often begin describing their dream in a very groggy way, then suddenly look surprised and either continue or flat out stop. What we know about the limitations of memory during sleep leads us to predict that dreams are able to be recalled about this same percentage of time, 80 to 90%, when dreamers are immediately awakened. Thus, it is concluded that all human adults dream during REM, but not everyone remembers it. Do children dream? Kids do not have the neural networks built yet to have full-fledged dreams, but they certainly experience dream mentation. In other words, dream fragments. Only one difference stands out in research comparing children's mentation content with that of adult dreams. Kids' mentations are significantly more likely to contain animals. This is believed to be experientially and evolutionarily based. First, kids tend to spend more time with animals compared to adults. Walking and talking animals populate their books and their TV shows. Animal characters decorate their clothes and their lunch boxes. Stuffed animals are tucked into bed with them at nighttime. Adults frequently dream of animals only when animals play a significant role in their waking life. A pet owner, for example, may often dream of their dog or cat, and an animal trainer may dream of their charges quite often. But for kids, waking life is full of animals, real and imagined, and so dreaming life is too. Now, second, evolutionary psychologists have proposed that our brains are wired to pay more attention to animals at birth. It was beneficial for our hunting gathering ancestors to be able to distinguish between animals that were friendly and those that were threats. Now, a kid is not going to get eaten by a tiger nowadays, but for our evolutionary ancestors, large animals were a realistic threat. So it is surmised that we instinctively pay attention to animals more at first, and the tendency gets gradually non-reinforced over time. You needn't memorize these numbers. This chart is for your interest only. It is a chart from mentation and dream content studies that shows how the amount of animal content in dreams decreases with age.